I played football when I was a kid, so I was big, but I was also big because you know I I ate a lot of SpaghettiOs. So yeah.
Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri, and welcome to episode 126 of We the Gamer Cast, the official podcast of WeTheNerdy.com, and it comes to you on iTunes, Google Play, and mother-loving YouTube every single Monday. Thank you for subscribing, and when you're on the video with that thumbs up, it helps a lot. Leave a little comment, leave reviews, everything you guys do. Thank you so much for being here and listening and being on the little Luke Lord journey, as he says. I refer to that a little later on in the chat with Brandon Wilson, but guys, of course, as always, I'm getting way ahead of myself. If you're new, here's the deal. Every week I hang out with I have sweet hangs. What the heck? I don't even know what is going on. Every week I have sweet hangs with a stranger from the internet, and we talk about video games. And if you want to be on the show, just tweet at me. I'm Sean Connery. This is the worst intro I've ever done. I'm Sean Capri. Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. Trying really hard to not look at the script the whole time. Like, it's in here. I know it. I've done it 126 times before. Probably even more than that, actually, because there's sometimes where I record and I lose it. Anyway, how are you? I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you're having an amazing day, whatever day it is. This comes on Monday, but sometimes you don't listen to it. That's okay. Whatever day it is. If you're raking leaves because it's warm where you are, that'd be nice. It's slippery as hell where I am. But otherwise, enjoying this nice little kind of a lull. I don't even want to be I know games are coming out, and I don't want to be disrespectful or dismissive of anything that's coming out, but I have been trying to catch up on some old games, finding things that are just fitting my style and what I'm feeling right now. But before I get into what I'm playing, I would be totally remiss if I didn't thank everybody at patreon.com/makeusbetter. We've been doing that for a little while. It's the reason we're on YouTube. It's the reason that we have returning guests. We will continue to push. Maybe one day, if we reach a level, I think it's $300 a month, we'll do, when the returning guests come back, we'll do a live episode. So we'll do a live stream of We the Gamer Cast. So thank you everybody for supporting so far. And if you've thought about it, you just go to patreon.com/makeusbetter. Maybe become a producer or even an executive producer, like our platinum executive producer, Corey Hicks, our gold executive producer, Mr. Quest for Pixels himself, Sheldon Benedict, and all of our gentlemen executive producers, Nick Milicia from Next Level Games, Joel Brooks, James Johnson, Dr. Doom, Jesse Armstrong, Glauco, Shaffer, David Ray, Mike Drummie, or David Lacey. Is that a Jason Lacey thing, David? Like, I could literally just, like, I'm chatting with you on Twitter right now. I could just ask you, but I'll just do this to everybody. Mike Drummie, Brendan Myers, Aaron Doherty, Martini Jean, and Kieran Smith. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Remember, before we go any further, there's a free game for you guys in the show notes or on the YouTube notes or wherever. It's there, so you guys you can go grab it. So thank you for listening. It's my gift to you for whoever wants that, and maybe we will be giving away more stuff. I have some requests out. Hopefully, I just want to give you guys things. Just thank you so much for being here. If you were here last week, of course, you remember Gary Gray. What a great episode. One of those, I probably say this too often, but I wanted to have Gary on for a long. Gary has supported this show and everything Bobby and I have been doing for a very, very long time, and it was nice to have him on. But everything sort of like lined up. The project that he is working on, he showed me afterwards, is amazing. I can't wait to share that with you guys, and it'll be in close proximity to when he was on the show. Also, if you head over to YouTube and look up the Topic Nintendo, I was on it. I did an episode with him, Topic Nintendo, and they're sitting around like 93 or 94 subscribers. So if you guys could go on over there, just open it. If you're on YouTube right now, just go on and open a tab. Just head on over, Topic Nintendo, you'll find them. Get those guys up to 100 subscribers so they can at least get the custom URL. So let's help them out there. Thank you, Gary, for last week. That was amazing. Speaking of YouTube, I may catch a little flack for this, but do we think that maybe we're overreacting just a little bit to this change that they're making? I know I'm not talking about the monetization or demonetization or whatever. I still think that there are problems with that. But what I'm talking about specifically is this issue that you have to reach 1,000 subscribers to be monetized. I don't disagree with that, actually. And I used this example on Twitter, and I actually had a really good conversation with a couple of people using this analogy where, let's say you have if you ran YouTube and you have $5 that you can then distribute to creators, would you rather give 1/1,000,000th of that $5 to a million people? So you're getting $0.000005 for having content, or would you rather give that $5 to one person and that actually make an impact with the $5? Because they're still spending $5 to encourage content creation, but what is actually incentivizing more content creation? Is it that .0000? Is that doing anything for anybody? And I'm totally open to this. If you guys want to leave a comment below, please do. Somebody please enlighten me. Anybody who is in that sub 1,000 or even in the sub 100, what is the amount of money that people are making when you have that few subscribers? That now that they've taken it away, what is the difference in your experience now? Aside from it feeling from you getting kicked in the nuts and the wind taken out of your sails, I get that. But the real money that's being taken away, I actually don't know, because my assumption is that it's very little, and that it actually that 1/1,000,000th of a $5 bill is actually not too far off. But if somebody could maybe clarify that for me, I think that would help to round out this discussion. I don't disagree. You're allowed to be upset, but let's talk about the whole thing. So that's all I just wanted to say about that. And as somebody like We the Nerdy has like maybe 100 subscribers, so monetization has really never crossed. Like, I don't put ads in front of anything, because even if we did get enough views, like there's just not enough there. So please, just wanted to put that out there. Quick update, whether you were asking for this or not. I've had three whole therapy sessions. I've been going every 2 weeks since December, feeling better, not in the clear for sure. And I've almost tricked myself already and thinking like, I'm good. It was just December. There's still some stressors that happen that kind of bring me down a little bit. So I just need to, I'm working on it. And some of the things that I've been doing actively is walk the dogs. That's a good thing, is actually getting outside and eating properly, eating much better in January than it was in December. That's another thing. And then every single day, maybe you guys try this too, I've been just writing down 3 things that I'm grateful for, 3 things I'm thankful for, either people or, like, I've had things like, I'm grateful for my commute, because my commute to work is not as bad as some other people. So I'm grateful that I've got really not much traffic to deal with. And anybody who listens to the Xbox Drive knows that that's the case, because you would hear it, that's for sure. So I'm writing down things that I'm grateful for every single day, and I'm also writing down 3 things that I hope happen for other people. And this might sound like airy-fairy or whatever, but honestly, it just helps put my mind, to hope something good for somebody else helps me. So it's this super selfish thing, and for some people it may be offering prayers, and for whatever, it's just wanting something good for something else actually is helping my own mental stability and my own mental health for sure. And I am finding that as some of the triggers or some of the encounters that I would be having that in the last little while have sort of been setting me off a little bit, I feel like I've got a little bit more energy. I've got a little bit more positive momentum going into some of these negative situations, and that is definitely helping me. So I just wanted to let you know that. I know a lot of people have opened up to me as well since I've been kind of talking about this too. So I really appreciate hearing everything from everybody, and we can work through this together, guys. And so I wanted to just quickly share some of the things that are helping me get through and getting on to the next episode. Let's keep making the show. Let's keep doing this together, guys. So that's that. Before we get into my chat with Brandon Wilson from Pixel Pulse Radio, I wanted to do a quick recommendation, as they do on Pixel Pulse. I have been listening to a new show that is on the OK Beast Network. It's called The Greatest Game, and it is absolutely incredible. It's a 3-part series. They do these limited run series. So if you guys, if you're afraid of commitment, this is an easy one. This is probably the smartest gaming podcast that is on the internet. You should definitely check it out. It just sort of like reframes. I'll put it this way. you've never heard anybody talk about games in this way. And I'm dodging around saying the names because I know Chase Williams, but I don't remember the other guy's name. But he works at NASA, and it's just this incredible new take on video games. You should definitely check it out. The Greatest Game, part of just the ongoing onslaught of quality stuff coming out of the OK Beast camp. So congratulations to you guys for that. And if you guys like, the first episode was an hour. I'm moving on to the second one now. I'm almost certain that it's in around there. So this isn't a huge amount of content you need to get through, but it's dense. It will stretch your brain muscles. So you guys should definitely go check that out. What else? Oh, another video too to check out is Toby Thornton. He's you can find him. He's a Married Man Gaming. He did a video of when I was describing my chicken dinner win on the Gaming Gurus last week, and he didn't care. So in the video, it's me on the right, Bobby on the left, and Toby's in the middle, and I'm going on and on, blabbing on like I do about this chicken dinner that I won, and he just doesn't care. You need to go check that out. It is amazing. And that's kind of it for this week. I've been playing The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, which I'm an hour in. It is much bigger than I thought. This actually ties in with one of Alex Van Aken's recent YouTube videos on the walking simulator. I thought I saw everything I needed to see out of that genre, and all of a sudden, this is blasting it wide open again. I'm no longer closing the door on this, but I'm going on far too long. Guys, why don't we get into my chat with Brandon Wilson? You know him from Pixel Pulse Radio. He is at digital_visions on Twitter, so please give him a follow. Why don't we get right into it? Here he is, Brandon Wilson. First try. I just had a bit of a freak out moment because I thought I would come down and start to get prepared and make sure that I'm not late, and nothing was working. So none of the cameras were flickering on, OBS wasn't recording, nothing was working. And I'm like, okay, you know what, no problem, probably just a restart. That fixes everything, just restart the whole computer, and then it wouldn't boot. So it was just sitting there like at the press delete to enter your BIOS settings. I'm like, this is great. I've already messed up the time zones, and now my computer is not working. And I let it go. I'm like, if I power down, I could destroy the whole damn thing. But I was running out of time. I'm like, they gotta get this thing going. So I hit the power button and then fired it back up, and it turned on differently. It did like a couple extra screens. When you have a computer for so long, you know exactly like every beat it hits before it finally firing up.
That's not right.
Yeah, it was like going from one monitor to the next. I'm like, oh no. I was about to get my laptop out. We'll have just an audio version at the very least, maybe even my phone. It was about to get very, very bare bones, but luckily pulled it out, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah, we like I said, we had the basketball game for my youngest one this morning. And that was a little stressful, but
Was it?
It is what it is.
How come? Just getting everybody ready?
No, it's I don't know. I think some people just go a little crazy when children's sports are involved.
Oh, let's get into it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
there are
parents.
some people that think that the NBA is going to call at any moment.
Yeah, they may be right beside you. You never know. Like, they don't wear T-shirts that say NBA. They could be
Right.
there could be scouts right there.
Yeah.
Ugh. So like yelling at the ref or yelling at coaches. We used to have parents
Yelling at everybody,
coaches. Oh,
anybody
man.
that'll listen.
Is that like pretty usual? And is it your team? Or is
It varies. It all depends on the week, and it could even be my family at some point. But yeah, we try to keep it toned down, especially for the little kids teams.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Is it competitive at least though? Like, does it at least somewhat warrant any sort of aggression, or is it still kind of like?
not really. I mean,
Yeah.
this. I mean, my youngest is playing in like a church league.
Yeah.
So there's a really wide range of talent levels.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kids that are really good, and then there's kids that their parents want them to play something, so they just rolled the dice and came up with basketball.
It'll be basketball this season. Maybe it'll be tennis next year or whatever, or something.
Right.
From season
yeah.
to season.
So there's a really wide range of skill levels, and some parents literally think that a scout from a NBA team's gonna call at any second.
So hang on, the game you were at was a church league? Like this game was church league game? And people aren't like, is that a, what does the Bible have to say about church league?
Well, I'm pretty sure that it would be frowned upon to be screaming at a 10-year-old's basketball game.
Holy! So who won?
Yeah.
Who won?
The other team won by a fair amount. We kept it pretty close until the end, and then it just kind of fell apart. But
and is it kind of like once per week kind of thing? I remember when I played soccer as a kid, like Saturdays were the day, man. I waited all week. Thing. Oh man, that's so special. I just love that.
Yeah.
It's too bad. Yeah. So what about? The first thing that came to mind when you mentioned that a bunch of parents are screaming. I have this theory that like we sort of expect adults to always know better. They should be wiser. They've got experience, and almost I think like we're just like bigger versions of the idiot kids we were when we were playing sports. We just have like jobs and cars now. Like we have more ability to exploit how much of an asshole sometimes we can. Like what is it's I guess what we need is like a parent for the parents, but like I don't know, we need something to guide us along those moments where we start to get a little outside of our mind.
Yeah, I think I do think that people should exercise the filter a little bit more often. Like, let's consider the audience.
Okay.
Like, you're dealing with parents and you're dealing with 10-year-olds. So neither adult parents or 10-year-olds should be having to listen to somebody screaming over a basketball game. So, yeah, I think that some people just don't have the ability to filter.
Maybe part of it is though, like sometimes it's not even the thing that you're yelling at that's really upsetting. Maybe it is like it's a stressful. That's why I kind of asked like, what was the stressful
that's
part?
Very valid.
I think like getting kids to their sports. Holy crap! Like I'd rather play games. That would be like games sound like a way more fun because the kid doesn't really acknowledge that there's a timeline here and that like you need to do this and this in order to get there on time. They'll just like you're driving, you'll take care of that. So I can only imagine. Like I want to pull back a little bit on the whole all adults are assholes a little bit. Right. Most can be, many can be. But yeah, a little benefit of the doubt. That's not an easy day. That's not an easy day for parents as well. So anyway, well, I'm glad we could figure this out. I'm sorry about messing up time zones. And even as I say that, somebody out there is listening like, yeah, you did that to me too. So it's not the first time and it probably won't be the last time, sadly.
I would not worry about that at all.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Well, this is something I've wanted to have you on for a very long time. I'm a probably more recent listener to Pixel Pulse Radio, and of course I've had Alex on, and just before this I was watching his video on What Remains of Edith Finch, and maybe we'll just talk about Alex for a little bit at the start here. Like, sure. And I know you have other kids, and I want to learn about them as well too. But like I feel like he's really just kind of like hitting his stride. And I just wanted to know, this is a rare occurrence for me to have somebody on the show who is a parent of another guest or a parent of a friend of mine. Like, what is it like for you to just watch him learn these skills and put himself out there and just kind of hit his stride in terms of what he's putting out there with OK Beast and Pixel Pulse Radio?
I'm incredibly proud of Alex in general. He is very good about applying himself. He has a super work ethic. So he's gonna work through whatever he's got in mind. He's gonna work through it until it's complete.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I like about the videos and what I like about his part of OK Beast is that, he gets to see some of that work come back. Mm-hmm. So like there's always that instance where you're putting something out into the world and you don't really know how people are reacting to it.
Right.
But in this instance, people are reacting to it, and people are letting him know that he's doing really good work. And I'm just really glad that he's able to see, kind of what myself and his dad and his mom have all been telling him this whole time, that he does good work, and he deserves everything that he's getting, for sure.
It's nice too that, when you say that at the beginning, I think a natural response is, well, you have to say that. Like, of course, like, you wouldn't tell me otherwise, or at least I think a lot of kids would think that, and they don't consider the kids who actually are in those unfortunate situations where the parents are harping them all the time. But, like, it never seems genuine. So I think that part that you mentioned, where it's other people mentioning that he is doing a good job, you go like, see, right, we were saying that from the beginning. We weren't just being, overly praising of you. So that's nice. It all kind of like comes full circle. And the one thing that I noticed about you guys right off the start, right when I first started listening to Pixel Pulse Radio, was just how close you guys are. And I wonder, like, I asked Alex about this as well when he was on the show, and I wonder, how is the show a result of the closeness, or is it something that has brought you together, maybe a little bit of both?
Well, I mean, when he and Kayla moved to Colorado, it was just kind of an idea that we put together because we knew ultimately that we were still going to be, chatting on the phone about games and what are you playing and how's this going, and
were you guys talking on the phone a lot before too? Like, were you guys just always communicating?
I mean, we do a lot of text.
Yeah.
I'm really not much of a telephone
Me
person.
neither. That's why I ask. I always wonder, like, who's doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. I text has always been easier for me because if I'm busy at work, then I telephone, I always feel like I'm obligated to answer. Whereas a text, I can kind of take it all in and come up with an answer and get back later. It's not as immediate, and people know that if they need to get in touch with me, they can call me and I'll answer. But
maybe as when you return, because now we do returning guests on this show, we'll do that by text. So from now, for the next like 3 months, you and I can just text each other, and then I'll just transcribe that into I'll have like a robot read it, like a text
that works
voice,
for me.
That'd be great. But there's something about phone that, like, it's like I need to set aside 20 minutes at least, because like if it was any shorter, it would be a text. So there's that whole time management side of it.
I need to do it more because my mom is getting up in age and so forth, and we as people, like, we're involved in these social media channels, and I honestly believe that social media has, to a certain degree, has made us less social. And I think I really desperately think that we need more one-to-one, like face-to-face kind of interaction, and we do miss out on that.
And what do you think? Because I want to dive into that a little bit, because I totally agree. I don't really like surface level type of stuff. Like if we like come together in a forum or whatever, we have a chat, like that's great. But like really, I'm looking for something a little bit more meaningful, which is the whole spirit of this show. So, but what about, like, I worry that sometimes we respond to that notion that social media is making us less social, so that we do things that feel more social. But is it playing into a facade? So what I mean by that is, doing a podcast is an example you and I can both relate to. Do you feel like that is actually, like, is that a facade in terms of making you more social because it's a show, or is that actually, like, you actually get best of both worlds? I'm of two minds of this thing, but I wanted to know, A, does that make sense to you? And B, if it does, then what do you think? Because it's nice that you have that time together, but it's a show. So I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my mind around this concept a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think we still have an open dialogue about whatever it is that's on our mind.
Yeah.
And we do have we do have like a set form that we try to put things under. Like, we have different segments of the show, and some of that's news, some of that's what we're playing, some of that is we usually do like weekly recommendations, and but we still try to leave it as much of a open conversation as possible. So we really wanted to make it like we're having a conversation on the telephone, but give it a little bit more structure so people understand that it is a show, and we have certain things that we try to cover during the show. But there's sometimes on the show when we go off on a complete tangent, or sometimes we have a guest. You've been on once or twice.
Yeah,
I know
thank
you've been
you
on
so
once,
much. I know you guys don't do that often, so thank you.
Yeah, we have guests, so there's times when guests may go off in a completely different direction. It is what it is. We enjoy that just as much as our regular structured shows. So yeah, we just, above all else, we just continue to try to convey that conversational kind of tone.
Well, whether you do it with like that in mind, like consciously, or it just sort of happens that way, like what you described is exactly the show, and it does strike that nice balance. And the reason I asked the question is because I'm starting to kind of like in my own mind work out why, like, because I talk to a totally different person every single week, and we talk for an hour, and I think that the common thread is video games. I think that might be the thing that does it, and that allows for conversation about really anything. And so I'm struggling like in a lot of ways lately of like my dad calls it a blog, and it drives me nuts. And I'm not sure, like, I love that you guys have this thing that you like, look, even if like everything else is crazy, you come together once a week, and even if it is a show, it's still better than going weeks without really talking to each other. So it's that, and it's that common thread of you like games, you like to create content, you like to podcast, and it's a link of conversation that creates for, like, it's like when you hang out with friends, then you go, okay, what are you doing tomorrow? And then you hang out again, and then you hang out again and again. But if you don't see each other for a little while, then it's hard to kind of like rekindle that a little bit. So I just wanted to dive into your mind a little bit of that. And on the topic of Pixel Pulse, it was Alex who came to you, right, on that idea?
Yeah.
And so what were you like, where were you at in terms of podcasting? Because a lot of us who create podcasts, it's born out of an obsession. Like, were you listening to anything at the time? Like, had you discovered podcasts yet, or was this kind of your first kick at it?
I knew about podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't know that I listened to anything on a regular basis, really. I knew that Alex had started listening to shows on a regular basis, and I would occasionally listen to one, but it's difficult for me because I see so many that I want to listen to or even watch. And like right now, I have a huge backlog. I and I'm not just saying this, but I actually went through and listened to several of the We the Gamercast this morning just so I could kind of get caught up. I watched the one with NATO. NATO's a cool guy.
Oh, NATO's awesome, man. I love that. Thanks.
Yeah, and I love the Mega Dads guys. You had Adam Leonhardt on recently.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love those guys too. So that's my biggest thing with podcasts. Is there's so many, and there's so many different types. Like I love game podcasts, but at the same time, there's so many other really cool podcasts out there about all sorts of different things. So I just get this humongous pile, and eventually I have to get caught up. But yeah, I had considered listening to podcasts more, and Alex and I were actually out of town together. We were in Maryland, and unfortunately his grandfather, my father-in-law, had passed away.
Yeah.
So we were at a kind of like a vacation rental house, and everybody else had gone somewhere else to kind of everybody deals with that sort of thing differently. So everybody else had gone, I think, to dinner, or it was actually 4th of July weekend, coincidentally, at the same time, and they may have gone to fireworks or something like that. But Alex and I hung back. He wasn't feeling very good, and we just started chatting, and the podcast was kind of born.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, just right out of that moment.
Yeah.
Man, I love that. It's just like, it's just so natural. Like, that's the thing that it doesn't come off like we're gonna do this and we're gonna get huge and everything like that. So I've become a very big fan, and I love kind of getting to know you guys.
That.
Honestly,
we're huge fans of you too.
Well, we can stop kind of just like rubbing each other's backs here and just circle jerking a little bit.
Hey, I told you recently. I call them as I see them. So yeah, I wouldn't
appreciate
say
that. You know, I do appreciate it. I just get weird around compliments, so I just kind of get a little stumbly, and then I just try to work on to the next topic, which I want to talk about, which is your beard, man. I want to talk about this beard. Where does it like it is your relationship with Alex is something that I envy and I admire and want to model after. And the other thing that I don't even know if I have a hope in the world, but I still admire is the beard. Like this is as much as I get. I trim once a week, and that's as much like care as my face gets. But like you got the shaping, and like talk to me through the manicuring, and anybody who out there who may be wanting to try this out, walk me through the journey.
I guess I didn't have a whole lot of choice in the matter because my family in general tend to be slightly more more furry than others.
You're a pack of hairy men.
Yeah, I think I've had some sort of facial hair since I was like in 4th or 5th grade.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
What's wrong with that kid over there? He's got a mustache.
You know what? That kid should be in grade 8, but he failed 4 times.
Yeah. So
were you strong too? Like, were you bigger than the rest of the kids? Like that, I feel like that doesn't happen on its own. You're advancing. I've
been on, to quote the Game Over Greggy guys. I've been on Team Fat for quite a while. So, I played football when I was a kid. So I was big, but I was also big because, I I ate a lot of SpaghettiOs. So, there's
awesome.
So there's some actual muscle, and then there was a lot of SpaghettiOs.
Oh my god, that is amazing. SpaghettiOs is like the one thing like that, and like Chef Doherty just takes you back instantly to childhood. That's amazing.
Actually, I was more hooked, and they don't even sell it anymore, but I was more hooked on Pac-Man pasta because back then, man. I was I was a gamer back then, and my grandmother actually gave me. She went to the store, got this box, and it was actually a box from a basketball. Mm-hmm. And this was Christmas time. She bought like a case of Pac-Man pasta, so it was probably like 30 cans of Pac-Man pasta, and she put them all in the box and wrapped the box, and that's one of the things that I got for Christmas. Not like my grandmother just gave me pasta, but I was raised by my grandparents for the most part. So
oh really?
It's that's the type. She always made sure that we had something to eat for sure. So that factored into it.
Do, man. My grandparents are exactly the same. Even if like you just ate, it keeps coming out more. How did that? I love that. Like we'll get to the beard eventually. Like I don't know. You may have noticed from listening to the shows too. Like question and then like totally we'll go out there somewhere else. Maybe we'll come back. Who knows? I've got other things I want to talk to you about. Well, the beard is still interesting. But how does that come about? Like we talk about Alex, and I only wanted to touch on that for just a little bit because I did want to. I feel like as a dad, you're probably always talking about your kids. So let's talk about you a little bit, maybe as a kid as well. Like how do you end up with your grandparents, man? I feel like maybe I should be careful about asking this question too.
No, I'm totally open to that sort of thing. It is an interesting topic. My dad left kind of early, so I guess I was about 6 months old. My brother would have been about 4, roughly.
Yeah. Wow.
So my dad left home really early, and my mom was kind of in this mode like, she liked to do her own thing.
Yeah.
And I love my mom, and I'm I try to do as much as I can for her to make sure that she's taken care of now. But my mom was just kind of doing her own thing, and my grandmother wanted to make sure that we had everything that we needed. So the majority of my childhood was spent at my grandparents' house, and my grandmother was actually a cafeteria lady for the school board, and so I actually attended the middle school that she was cafeteria lady at. So it's almost like celebrity status. Like if you can go to the cafeteria and the cafeteria lady is like your grandmother, and she's giving everybody like free rolls and the Nutty Buddy bars and all kinds of stuff. It's almost like celebrity status.
Totally.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. But like I said, I got big in more ways than one.
Yeah, man. Just food everywhere. Like it's just unlimited. I've said this before. My parents are kind of the same, just in their house. Like they had 4 kids, and they just never really stopped buying enough food for the 4 kids. So you go over there, and it looks like they're preparing for like the nuclear apocalypse. Like they just have stacks and stacks and stacks of just like canned food. There's just so many cans. It's crazy. So your grandma is it sort of like semi-retirement kind of thing? 'Cause she's working, but like how does it work then for you for you and your brother at home in terms of like getting into sports and everything? Like, is that taken care of by your grandmother, or is your mom still in the picture?
Well, my mom kind of juggled some of that stuff.
Yeah.
My grandmother worked full time all the way up until she was almost like 70. Yeah. She
70 years old. Holy cow.
Yeah, and she also had a incredible work habit, work ethic, and yeah, she's the type of person where she would go to work, like she could break her leg and her leg would be hanging off and she would drag herself to work. I mean, that's the type of person that she was. But yeah, my mom kind of bounced in to help with sports and that sort of thing. And there's short amounts of time when I stayed with my mom, but my brother kind of bounced around a lot too. So yeah, I mean, it was an interesting childhood. I think part of that kind of led to, me having this thought as I became a parent, me having this thought that I wanted to make sure that I was there.
Rock solid. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So that's something that means a whole lot to me, is to make sure that, if my kids have questions or if they have something that they want to talk about, then I'm available.
And how many kids do you have in total? Like, do you have your own kids, or is it all step kids? Like, what's the family tree?
No, we have 3. It's Alex is my step, and then I have Colin is 17, and Ethan is 11.
And where are they coming from? So what's the so you're in school, you're living with your grandma, you grow up. At some point, you actually meet Alex's mom, then you guys go off, but then you meet somebody else, I'm gathering, and have kids. Is that what happened?
No,
or you had your own kids with Alex.
Alex's mom and I have been together for a while now, but we were actually friends a long time ago.
Yeah, man.
And we were friends, and I knew Alex's dad.
Yeah.
And we all hung around in the same circle of friends for a long period of time. But yeah, we lost touch for a while, and then actually we were both on a dating site, and I think she reached out to me and sent me a message or something to that effect.
And she's like, "This beard is just incredible. Like, I just have to swipe on or whatever."
I think I had there wasn't much swiping in dating apps back then, but I think I had a goatee back then.
Okay, yeah.
It was a short period of time where I had a goatee, but
sounds like a 90s kind of thing to do. Gotta have the goatee. What kind of? I skipped over it actually. When you're at your grandma's house growing up, like what kind of games? You kind of mentioned Pac-Man for a second there. Where did games kind of like come in for you? Because I wanted to talk to you about I feel like you have a different angle on games because of a little bit of a different history. Like, you're not always talking about the same thing that everybody else is, and I've always really appreciated that about you on Pixel Pulse Radio. So like, where does the trajectory start in video games for you? And is it your grandma who gives you a console, or are you experiencing it somewhere else, or how does that work?
There's no doubt that she contributed to my addiction.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I had all the way back to, I remember having Super Nintendo, actually regular Nintendo, hooked up to a little teeny, I think 13-inch color television in the kitchen of my grandmother's house. Mm-hmm. And my buddy Jimmy and I, we actually worked together for a while. Mm-hmm. I did car audio like right out of high school.
Oh, really?
And yeah, he was like the shop manager, and on certain days, usually like weekends, I would bring in my first generation PlayStation, and we would hook it up in the office, and we would turn away all the customers for that day, and just sit back in the office and play PlayStation all day. So,
oh man, I love it.
Yeah, it's I kind of, a lot of people are looking for like these additional themes and stuff in video games, and I still as much as possible try to embrace games for the fun of them.
I'm with
you. So
man.
Everybody's looking for this, and there's no doubt that there are deep artistic themes in a lot of video games. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of video games that tell amazing stories. Mm-hmm. Like the first one that pops in my head is that Dragon Cancer.
Yep.
Like how amazing is that story?
It is gut wrenching, really.
Yeah.
And through just like you're not even looking at anything like realistic either. So it's that conveying that story and those feelings through just shapes and voices, and it's like, golly, yeah. So yes, undeniable that those are important and those are beautiful experiences. But there's a but coming.
Yeah, I think there's some times where you can get so deep looking for some sort of theme that you've missed the fun. Mm-hmm. Like I still love just picking up a video game to forget about everything else that's going on and have a good time, play with some cool people, and just play video games.
Just let the game do the talking.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are looking for these deep themes, and sometimes they've missed the forest for the trees.
Do you think it's like an overcompensation thing where we're trying to go like, look, video games are really important. They're really like, look at all these things they could do, and it's like, well, they were actually really good if you just pick up a controller and race around at 60 frames per second, and like, because I know you and I connect on Forza is like, to me, criminally underplayed and totally overlooked just because everybody recognizes it's great and they go like, yeah, but that's not surprising, it's not new. But I think that gameplay is king, is the thing that I typically say. Forza Horizon 3, my game of the year 2016, like that's kind of where I come from. Like Doom, one of the best games. So I don't look for too much, but at the same time, like I recognize Alex's video again, What Remains of Edith Finch, was my, oh yeah, I haven't forgotten that those games are great as well. It's just I don't need that every single time, and I guess as time goes on, maybe even less so. I just want to like jump into a game of Rocket League and just let that game kind of like do its own thing. I don't remember if oh sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and there's a lot of times like there are games specifically for that deep theme that everybody's looking for. There are games that are designed for that. So that was a good example. But I feel like a lot of times people are looking for themes in games that weren't really intended to have themes.
Man, that reminds me of school of like writing comprehension or reading comprehension, and it's like there was a multiple choice question after reading this paragraph of a story or something, and you go like, what was the meaning of this? And it's like, well, I didn't get any of that. So like, I guess now I have to pick from these four things. Yeah. It totally reminds me of those days. I don't remember because your time with the OK Beast Game of the Year kind of got cut a little bit. I don't know if it was technical issues or whatever. What was your vote for Game of the Year for 2017?
That's a really
you on
good
the spot
question.
on your own. What were some of the games that you like? Because
by and far, Cuphead was like one of the biggest games for me. Mm-hmm. I don't think that was my. I feel horrible now.
I had Zelda
I'm
at the
drawn
top.
a complete blank.
I think like anytime somebody would slam Zelda for like the story, this is why that point comes up, because it's like, well, that to me comes second, if not third, if not fourth. It was the fact that this game without story managed to pull me in and just like actually just kind of like write off 100 hours of my time. But like Nex Machina was a game like that, like very arcadey type of experience that nobody really talked about. But yeah, there's maybe we need a couple different categories, just gameplay, like games, and then everything else. I don't know.
Yeah, and we did split off several different like additional categories, like best multiplayer experience, best ongoing multiplayer, best art direction, and so forth. But Cuphead to me was like one of those games where just knowing all the work that went into it, knowing that they tried to duplicate as much as possible the process that they created animation back in the 30s, that type of style. To me, that speaks volumes.
Yeah, man.
Like you cared that much about the game that you're trying to put out, and the style and the overall look of the game, that you duplicated a lot of the same techniques that people did back then.
To me, it's sort of like reminding me that we haven't seen everything that there is to see out of the indie scene. Like it seems like for a little while there, it was like all walking simulators or a whole bunch of 16-bit kind of platformer kind of games, and all of a sudden this little team comes out and we can expect a lot more. It almost like they just seem to be upgrading almost, where they're just like before the indie scene was just so basic, and now it might kind of fill in that AA space that we maybe used to have. But I don't want to dwell on that too much. But I do want to talk about. Let's go back to kind of like your original influences. So you guys had. I love how you said regular NES too, because it was like super. And you didn't need a descriptor in front of Nintendo before until the Super came out. And you're like, oh well, now I'm gonna call that first one regular NES. Like what kind of stuff were you playing on a 13-inch screen, man?
Well, I definitely played Mario Brothers. Metroid, I played a lot of. Mega Man, I'm really looking forward to Mega Man 11 coming out.
Oh, okay.
I played lots of Mega Man. Yeah.
What were your thoughts when they announced that? Because it looks a little different. Like even the fact that it's 11, which is still within that same kind of like sequence from 1 to 10, which is the same sort of style. Like they didn't have to do an X or a different version. Like, what do you think that? Like, is this okay for you? Is this blasphemous? What's going on with Mega Man 11?
I don't know how much of a call that I can really make until I get my hands on it.
You think
I am really looking forward to playing it.
Yeah.
I think it could be this year. I don't know if they've come out with an official date yet, but yeah, I think it could be this year. A lot of the video that I've seen looks pretty complete.
Did you play Mighty Number 9?
No.
Well, it's almost like maybe you just should, just for 5 minutes, and then go like, I'm looking forward to anything else after this, because it's just, you can get your hands on it for free or something like that, or really cheap.
Was it not good?
It's so bad. And in a way, like, and I don't know Mega Man enough to really go, it didn't do like this specific thing that Mega Man does so well, or this. It's just like, it just wasn't fun. It just seemed like it was really trying hard, and I just didn't really get a sense of wanting to pick it up. Like, I don't know if there's really anything more to say about it other than it was just kind of blah. And I don't even like that, saying meh.
And I think that's another reason why I like Cuphead so much is Mega Man was very much like Cuphead, or Cuphead was very much like Mega Man, like the original Mega Man. So if it wasn't even remotely like that, then I probably wouldn't like it either.
Design, I guess, like they're still doing the shooting and you're moving from side. Like there are like visually and on the surface, it was the same. And again, I don't know, I guess enough about like it was easier, and so in a lot of ways, it should have been a little bit more approachable. But yeah, man, like it just Mighty Number 9 was just it's really too bad. So and it's nice that it seems like Capcom is making a bit of a comeback here. They seemed to be in trouble, but they basically put like their life on the line where they said, here's our plan. We're going to remake some stuff because we just need money, and hopefully you guys buy it. And people did. And now it seems like Resident Evil 7 is a thing, and now they can kind of go back and redo or revisit Mega Man and not so much just here's the same game over again. So revisiting their old classics in a new way, I think, is hopefully will breathe some new life into Capcom, because I
really want to see what happens with Atari.
Oh, yes.
Like all of a sudden, Atari's coming out. Like I don't know what the idea was behind the speaker hat that they put out. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they put out this Bluetooth hat with speakers in it. That seems kind of random to me, especially from Atari. But this Atari box really has me intrigued. Like I want to see. I want to see what happens with that.
Well, the problem is it has the wood paneling, and what they should have done is sold cardboard. So obviously they misread the market. They went with because like do we even know what it is? I keep getting emails about it saying I can pre-order it, but I'm not really sure like what it is. Like the balls on Atari right now is actually kind of impressive.
And I don't really know if it's intended to be like the remake consoles that Nintendo brought back out.
Right.
The Super Nintendo, the regular Nintendo. I don't know if it's intended to be like that or if it's something completely new and it's going to do something different. I can't see myself like putting money down on it until I really know what it's supposed to be capable of. But I am really interested to see where it goes. It's because Atari still has a big name.
Do they like? Is it? Does it have a nostalgic pull for you? Yeah.
Of course, I'm old, but
well, I didn't want to say it, but I'm just like this is a pillar of like why you like the games you are now. Like these are Atari is games, and that's actually a common thread of Capcom as well. I think is just gameplay for like silly dialogue. Maybe if you're getting dialogue, it's just Atari and those. So I'm not surprised. I don't think it has anything to do with age. It's just like the preference of games that really started when games were games. So like I'm wondering, I guess the question is always, who is this thing for? And it has enough intrigue for you that like it seems like it's become maybe a bit of a joke in the last little bit because we don't know what it is and like what is Atari up to anyway. So yeah, like I wonder how many are like you that are looking forward to this thing without just wanting to know what it is so that they can start making fun of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested whether it ends up being a punchline or not. I am interested to see what happens with it.
What would you want out of it? Like, would if it was a classic type of thing? Is that what you'd want, or something?
I don't think so because and I've talked about it a little bit on Pixel Pulse, but I actually put together one of these Pi Girl handheld Raspberry Pi.
Right.
You could play emulated games and so forth. And I put some Atari games on this thing, it plays them really well. But I recall why nobody's chomping at the bit to take out their Atari. Well, you're not seeing Instagram pictures of people hooking up their Ataris on their television.
Oh, goodness gracious.
You will still see people hooking up a Nintendo or Super Nintendo or something like that, but you don't see many people hooking up a Atari 2600 to their widescreen.
There's no speed running that can happen. It's all because it's all frame by frame stuff with Atari. I don't know if there is any speed running in Pitfall. Like maybe
I don't know.
Maybe it's just a perfect run. But I guess you could do that on any what are those called on your cell phone where you're just endless runners. I guess that's basically was the original sort of endless runner. What do you think? So Nintendo's got the Nintendo Labo coming out. Do you think still they'll continue the classic line this year? Like, is N64 in our future, or maybe Game Boy? Do you care? Like, where's Nintendo come for you? Like, you had regular Nintendo and Super Nintendo. Is that something that pulls at nostalgia in the same way, or like not really?
Well, I mean, we even had the Wii when that originally came out.
Oh, yeah.
Alex still tells the story where I was actually out of town for work, and I called while I was out of town. I wanted it to be a surprise for the boys, and I'm calling all around. I'm down in Virginia Beach, which is about 2.5 hours away from where we live at. And I'm calling all around, and I managed to find one, and I busted over there, grabbed it, and got home, and I still have the video of Colin, who was probably 8 at the time. So Alex and I unveiled it to Colin, and yeah, his reaction was golden.
And it was just out of nowhere, like, because was this around the launch time, and it wasn't for a birthday or Christmas or anything like that?
This was around launch, and I was so interested to see what Nintendo was going to do with this new thing that everybody was talking about, and that was at the time where nobody could get one. Like, it was just a complete freak that I happened to find one.
Yep.
And
I got one the exact same. I got a return. My Wii still works, and it was returned. And I just happened to be there when this lady returned. I'm like, you are a little silly. And I just put my name on. I literally took out like a post-it. I'm like, Sean, bop. And I literally put my name on it as she was returning it. You couldn't take any chances then, man. You had to do whatever you could. Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened too. So I called my wife and told her ahead of time, and then I kind of unveiled it to Alex, and he blew up, and then like I said, I still have the video of when we showed it to his brother. So
did you pick up any games with it, or just the Wii Sports?
I think I picked up. There was a Carnival game that came out at launch, and I think I picked that up at the same time. And
remember Red Steel? Did you ever play Red Steel?
I didn't.
Oh, it was like
I heard about
it. A sword play,
but I never did. Yeah, I remember seeing it. I want to say that there was something else that I got around the same time, but it's slipping my mind. When you get old,
need is Wii Sport. Oh, I don't remember what I did yesterday, man.
When you get old, you don't remember your game of the year selection.
I know.
and you don't remember what happened when you bought your Wii. But
my mind is ruined. Like I am in, my wife actually probably more so than me, because I'll be discovering things for the first time for the rest of my life because my memory is so bad. But Chelsea's in for a rough ride, man. My dad and my grandma had early onset Alzheimer's. On my mom's side, her mom had it's just, I'm screwed. There's cancer in the family. There's like mental illness. There's everything. I just got I'm getting all the on the biological.
You'll be the one to buck the trend, though, Sean.
God.
Yeah, my grandmother was the same way.
I'm trying to be. I don't know, but I think my mind is. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I can't even get my time zone straight. I'm trying to power through caffeine. I think I didn't have enough caffeine that day to get that down. And I could see, I was going back, I'm like, how did I mess this up? And I saw exactly where I flipped. And I'm like, holy crap. Yeah, my mind's, that's why I got to do this show, man. Because at some point when it goes, I've got to remind myself the journey that I've been on this whole. There's the Luke lore mention of journey, by the way. Apparently I say journey a lot. So I like when people call
it is a journey.
It is. Life, I don't even know. Life finds a way. So you get home with the weed. This is great, man. I love these kind of stories where it's just so, even with our minds going to mush even right before our eyes, this is something that is so special, because I don't really I brought home, I'm trying to remember anything that would be similar to that, particularly because we didn't really have I didn't have consoles growing up like everybody else did, so my parents were like, just go to neighbor Matt's house and play instead. So we never really had that moment. My brother and I saved up and we bought an Xbox, and it was crazy expensive. It was yet at another time where our dollar was just in the shits, and it was $700, and we got Project Gotham Racing, but it wasn't a moment like that. So we didn't really have a Christmas where we just unveiled this thing. So I love hearing when you have this surprise that maybe is also for you a little bit too, Brandon. Like you were
Yeah.
curious too, so you're gonna get that. Yeah, it's for the kids, but when they're in bed,
I think
playing some Zelda.
almost all of my consoles have been very spontaneous though. Like,
oh really?
I mentioned the original PlayStation earlier. That was completely on a whim. Like, I think up until that point, I was playing 3DO.
I was just going to ask you about Panasonic 3DO. Holy crap, man. That is amazing.
Yeah,
yes.
So
okay.
I was playing a lot of that.
Oh, I love it. What were you playing on that? That was a mysterious one. That was like one kid in my school had it, and like you had to know, am I going to be friends with you because I want to find out about this Panasonic? Nah, maybe it's not worth it. You're kind of
yeah. Oh, I like the 3DO, and I wish I could find a solid emulator for the 3DO because there's a couple, like I played Killing Time. That was a first person. Yeah, that was a first person game. It was kind of like Doom at the time, but it was you're going in this big mansion. So the majority of it takes place in the mansion and like catacombs underneath the mansion and so forth. But I still remember they had little ducks, and you could shoot the ducks and they would splatter. And then there was this there was a housekeeping lady, and she would jump out like you're walking through the halls of this mansion, and she would jump out, and all she would say was housekeeping. And it sounds so simple, man, but it would scare the living crap out of you.
Was she an enemy or like we're legit?
Yeah. It was a really big lady, ample busted lady in her housekeeping outfit, and she would just like jump out of nowhere and yell housekeeping.
Oh my god, that is amazing. What was the controller like on the 3? I can't even picture.
It was kind of bulbous on both ends and like rounded on both ends, and I think it had like a regular analog D-pad and 4 buttons. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I love it. Do you think like in your mind was it hard done by? Was it or did it deserve the fate that it got?
I kind of wish. I kind of wish it had done better. I don't really know where the 3DO went wrong. I think the industry was still kind of feeling out how marketing should be done for video games.
Absolutely.
Because parents were unsure whether or not the kids should be playing it at that point, and kids just wanted more of it. So I think there were times where the industry went a little too far on the edgy side for marketing. And Nintendo always got that stuff right because they always presented it more of like a family experience.
They kind of got into like sci-fi for a little bit. Like when they started talking about you're playing with power, they were still kind of like there's lightning and stuff, and you're seeing like this.
I remember
dark,
the glove,
purple. There's totally.
Yeah.
So Panasonic, I just don't even think like they had like even an identity. Like the fact that it's hard to even picture what it was. But even at that, I remember that time well because PlayStation was coming out, and I thinking like that's a stupid name. Like what is these triangles and these squares and the cross or the X?
Yeah,
that's really stupid. You need give me my A and B buttons. This is really. I love that you had one. Did you know whatever happened to it? Like did you keep it?
I have no idea where that one went.
I hate how that happens.
Road Rash was another one I played. Almost wore that disc out. Yeah, Road Rash was huge.
That was on that edgy side of just ultra violent, like just get on a motorcycle and beat the crap out of people as you pull up next to them with a chain and everything. Those are the things you talk about on the playground. You go, no way, you're not hitting somebody with a baseball bat or whatever the things you could get in that game.
Yeah,
like just.
I love that game.
Outrageous.
There was supposed to be a new one that came out. It was like Road to Redemption or something like that.
That'd be a good virtual reality game.
Yeah, it would be.
Road Rash would be awesome. You just see these guys, like you could turn around, you can kind of see them coming up behind you. You're looking at all these weapons. Maybe you've got like this utility belt and all these things down below. You grab something, you like hit them off to the side. You basically be a VR street version of Mad Max.
I'd play it. I still haven't really had the time to spend with VR yet. I haven't really had the opportunity.
It'll make you throw up all of your SpaghettiOs, man.
That's kind of the gist that Alex gave me, was like he's tried a couple different headsets, I think, now at this point, and he said he has not gotten used to it yet. I think it takes a fair amount of time before you actually like settle.
What's your like? Are you, with that in mind? Is that enough to kind of keep you away for a little bit? Or are you still kind of intrigued? Like, I sometimes am intrigued irrationally so by things where I go like, I probably won't like that. I probably can't afford it. I don't have time for it, but like somehow I still want it. Like, which is kind of where I'm getting with especially PSVR as the price starts to come down. But I probably should be smarter about stuff like that, Brendan. I don't know. Is like
it is still expensive.
Don't. It is, like, that's the thing. I think I'd rather Chelsea have an Xbox so we can both play PUBG next to each other instead of
that. We're actually chomping really hard at the bit to try to get a PS4. So our house is Xbox only at this point.
Oh, you're good then.
And and I mean I've been happy up until this point, but there's a lot of exclusives that I'd like to play on the PlayStation side. Yeah. So
would you
Colin
go pro?
has been.
Would you go get a pro? Because the thing is, like, the original ones are so cheap now that it is getting to that point where if like you've been skipping out this whole time, it's kind of like, what are they, $200?
Yeah,
that's not bad at all. That's getting to the point where I'm buying one for my parents so that they have something at their place.
Right. Yeah, I'm not really sure. My Colin is the one that originally brought it up because he kind of wants one that he, like, right now he's having to share time between myself and my youngest Ethan, and so he kind of wants one that he can keep in his room and play on his own. So I think if I play my cards right, then I might be able to convince him to like share it with good old Dad. But
yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll have to see which direction that goes. But I do really want a PlayStation. There's a lot that I need to catch up because I haven't played PlayStation since PS2. I didn't play PlayStation 3 at all.
How come?
Which I feel like is a really bad thing to say, but
$700 thing.
Yeah, it just came down to what the majority of my friends were playing, and what I had the money to invest at the time, and that sort of thing. So I missed that. I missed that generation entirely. But there's tons of stuff that I really want to play. I can't wait to play Shadow of the Colossus again. That was like the game for me back on PS2. Yeah, there's tons of stuff that I want to play.
Do you have time for that? How is
not really?
Like how many were you happy with the games that you got through in 2017? Like, were you able to be just on X? No.
Yeah, like I said, we're splitting time between three of us now, and even my wife would like to play a little bit here and there.
Oh, really?
She used to play a lot. Like
nice.
We played World of Warcraft a lot.
Oh, right. Yes.
And I feel like everybody in the world's played World of Warcraft now, but she used to be a force to be reckoned with in Halo too. Believe it or not.
Yeah, man.
Like and she was really big on melee too. She did stuff that I had never seen anybody else do. Like, she could get up in your face and club you in your head before you even knew about it. And she used to club people left and right, and she would make people mad. Like, whole lobbies of people would just be pissed off at her because she just been tearing through them.
Did they know she was a she? Like, that make it even more mad kind of thing?
Yeah, she would talk a fair amount of crap. So
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to get a controller in her hand again. That'd be fun.
How much, so I guess, lately you guys haven't really been able to do too much. Like, would you, what's a co-op game that you'd like to get her on? Or maybe there's something that you guys do a little LAN party.
What we have played recently, although it's been a little while now, but we did play Overcooked together.
Yeah, and how'd you guys survive? Like, I feel like that's kind of like a
not
relationship
very well.
tester. Oh, okay.
Not very well. Yeah,
okay.
It's very.
It's hard.
It's very
man. It's
trying.
hard as hell.
Yeah, and eventually you got your wife and your kids together, and you're yelling at them because they're not doing the right thing, and eventually you got to take a step back and maybe this isn't the best decision.
Yeah, let's have some team building, not some like friendship ender type of game. Because the other thing too is like that I found was I had to stop yelling with Overcooked because I didn't know if I was yelling the right thing. Like I was certain, or I thought that would be a good idea, but I didn't know. And actually Chelsea was a much better planner anyway, so it turned out to, we would start a level, we'd find out like what it was going to throw at you, and then she would go, okay, you do this, this, and this, and I do this. I'm like, okay, great. And then I couldn't even really trash the plan either because I couldn't come up with anything better. So, but I guess
have you played that game single player though?
I haven't actually. Is it?
Well, nah, I haven't. I don't know either. And I've been meaning to go back to it to try it single player to see if it's even worth playing single player. Like I feel like it was built to be a party type game, but I've been meaning to go back and try it single player to see if it's even worth playing.
We have a rule in the kitchen
I'll let you know.
Where if Chelsea is making a meal or putting something together, nobody is allowed in the kitchen. Dogs are out, I'm out, everybody's out. But every so often I just want to get a drink or just a little. Maybe just grab a little snack. And if I bump into her, she'll remind, like, everybody out of the kitchen. I'll start, like, just humming the Overcooked song, like, doot, 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 doot. Just, like, kind of, like, scurry on out of there. I love that game. What a special game that one is. We're coming about to that time, Brandon. I don't want to put you too much on the spot, because I know remembering 2017 was hard, but maybe it's easier going in the other direction. What are some other things in addition to the things we talked about with Mega Man and stuff? What are some things that are coming out this year that, like, do you pre-order games? Is like what are you looking forward to? With Xbox being in the house, I guess that's tough too. Are you doing Sea of Thieves?
I'm there's no doubt I'm going to play Sea of Thieves. Yeah. I've actually got a plan. I'm hoping to get a stream together. I've got equipment that I have to buy before that can happen, but I've got a specific idea that I want to do for a live stream, like an ongoing live stream for Sea of Thieves.
Let's do it.
So I'm super excited about that. You're part of the crew.
Can you share? Oh, I forgot to ask about the voices. Where do these voices come from? You always have this like voice on Pixel Pulse.
And that's part of the idea of the ongoing stream for. I don't want to divulge too much, but I mean that's like that's an idea. I talked to Alex about this like as soon as I saw Sea of Thieves.
Oh, really?
I talked to Alex about this, and I've been really wanting to do it, but it's weird because every time I say out loud into the universe that I want to do something really badly, 1,000 things come up, real life kind of stuff.
Yep.
1,000 things come up, like my truck craps out, but yeah, there's a couple obstacles that I need to get over in order to do this stream, and I really, really desperately want to do it. But Sea of Thieves is a huge one that I want to play this year.
I'm so intrigued, man! I can't wait to find out what that is.
I'm a huge Red Dead Redemption fan, so I'm really looking forward to Red Dead Redemption. That's a really big one for me. Cyberpunk 2077, if that comes out this year, I'm a really big CD Projekt Red fan. So there's, to me, and I know a lot of people were saying that 2017 was a really big year, and I guess Switch played a huge role in that.
Yeah. But
to me, as far as like my own personal tastes, 2018 and 2019 are looking huge for me, and I'm worried about my wallet for this year. But
the kids are getting to be the age where maybe you can start getting back into, like, I don't know, maybe dominate the TV once again, like maybe it'll be yours again. I can't wait to find out what this thing is. I can't wait for Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. I'm sort of like tempering my hype a little bit because I don't know, I was late to the game on that one. I played that like way outside of the hype bubble. I think I was probably 4 years later after it came out, and just got to appreciate it for what it was. But now I'm sort of so I didn't jump into the hype at the very beginning. I played it, and then I had my experience with it, and then it's been a while since then. So I've sort of, like, I know it's one of the best games I ever played. But aside from somehow even acknowledging that, I'm still not like, ooh, Red Dead Redemption. But I can't wait to play. It's a weird space. It's occupying a weird space in my mind.
Well, see, the other aspect of it that I've really been considering is I've seen what is capable with GTA Online, and I think of putting that into this universe, which I'm really hoping that they have fleshed that out entirely. And I can imagine, like, you know, a group of us taking a posse to go take out this random guy that's got a wanted poster on him. So
that's the problem. I didn't have any like idea at all of what I wanted out of a sequel for Red Dead Redemption. I haven't gone into GTA Online, and I haven't played it recently enough to think like what were experiences there that I want more of. That's what you just described. Yes. Now I'm getting hyped, but maybe this is...
You played GTA, right?
I played through the single player of GTA 5 back on 360, right. And I have GTA 5, but I don't know, do I need to go through like a tutorial or something for online? Because I want to jump in with some people at some point here and find out what's going on with GTA 5 online.
You have it on Xbox?
Yep.
Well, then, yeah, we should all get together, because I know NATO plays, and we've been trying to get Alex to play. So
let's go.
I think we could get some folks together and probably get you up to speed pretty quickly.
That's what I want to hear. Yes, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm not like some sort of, multi-millionaire or something on it, but I have played enough to know what's fun and that sort of thing. I'm still kind of behind the curve because they just came out with another huge DLC, which I think is amazing. I
need to jump in. What I thought was, like, I loved jumping into Destiny 2 when I did, because everybody was still kind of like learning what was going on, but there's also people who had experienced the first one all the way through, and I found myself in like this really nice spot of people who were willing to guide me along, but I had played enough of the first one and enough of the second one to hold my own. I need to be comfortable in my GTA 5 or my GTA Online skin, I think, before I even jump in with other people. It's a weird thing for online games. PUBG was similar too. I felt very uncomfortable playing with other people who were like really good, even though like they weren't being mean or anything. I felt kind of dumb. So I need to maybe just like a half an hour just to find out like what is it, and remind myself how does Grand Theft Auto control, because it's pretty unique.
Yeah, and I think part of that is I mean, I don't know, like, I'm the type of person, and I can be really annoying sometimes, but I'm the type of person, if I'm jumping into a new game or a game that's new to me, I'll ask questions in a heartbeat. Like, I'm not shy about that.
That's the better way to do it. No, my way is worse. Mine's silly and dumb.
But at the same time, I think that's brought me to a point where I try to be as helpful as possible. So I think it's really important. Like, people can ruin a game for you.
That's
like, if you jump in with the wrong thing, wrong people, they can just completely ruin a game for you.
I don't like it.
So
I can't wait. Okay, well, where can people actually find out when you finally announce what you're up to with Sea of Thieves? Where can people find you on the internet? Is it something you'll announce on the show? Where can people find all of your great stuff?
Well, you can check us out at Pixel Pulse Radio. We're at OK Beast now. We're part of the OK Beast network. Or you can find me on Twitter at digital_visions. Come interact. I talk about all sorts of things, so I don't just talk about games, but I do marketing for a living, so I talk a lot about marketing, and I talk about just general dumb stuff. So, come hit me up on Twitter, and that's about it. Whenever if the stream thing happens, you'll hear about it on OK Beast for sure.
And I will be definitely spreading the word on that, because I can't wait for this. The hype is building for.
Well, I appreciate that.
I just can't wait to grab some rum and play some silly pirate games with people on the internet. This is going to be amazing. Brandon, thank you so much for adjusting today for me and being patient with my inability to tell time zones. Thanks for the chat today, man. This is awesome.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I can't believe that just happened. I was so glad that Brandon was able to deal with my total ineptitude with time zones. So thank you so much to Brandon. Thank you guys for listening. Remember, if we missed it just at the end there, digital_visions, please go give a follow. And if you haven't already, as if you're not already subscribed to Pixel Pulse Radio, go support over there, because you might even just stop listening to this. Really, it's just really great stuff. The music, I wanted to get maybe some Sea of Thieves stuff, because I'm getting a little jazzed, especially after that conversation. But what I did instead was stick with the Rare theme. We went with Donkey Kong Country. It's a terror plant at ocremix.org. Guys, I wanted to remind you, this might be a weekly thing. I wanted to let you know that it has officially been 3,380 days since I was able to change my PSN name from Nothing to Awesome Schlong. So hopefully one day we can reset that to 0 when I'm actually able to change it to Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants, like everything else, so I can be a normal person on PlayStation. 3,380 days with the same stupid ass PlayStation name. Thank you guys. Regardless, thank you for listening and subscribing and sharing with all of your friends and your parents and your grandparents and your children and their children and so on and so forth. You can leave a review on iTunes. It helps out a ton. And subscribe at youtube.com/WeTheNerdy. Maybe we'll monetize one day. Who knows, guys? Follow me on Twitter at Sean Capri, Sean like Connor, Capri like the pants. And follow the website, We the Nerdy, and the show, We the Gamercast. It helps a ton. It allows me to give things away, like in the show notes. Sleeping Dogs is there for you. Go take it. It's yours. That's a line from a movie. Maybe Troy? It's yours. Is that Brad Pitt's line? Thank you to our artist, Gary Gray from last week, and Adam Leonard, and our video designer, Antonio Guillen. This show is powered by the Dayspace network of podcasts, where you can find a whole bunch of other shows, like the Xbox Drive, where I drive through McDonald's and grab a coffee, and then we talk about Xbox. And this last week was beefy, man. We had a whole ton of news. Finally, Xbox is getting on it. And next week, I hope to update you guys. Tonight, I will be playing PUBG, 4 players in the same house. It's going to be ridiculous. I'm totally going to geek out over that tomorrow on the Gaming Gurus, which is the other show that I do with Bobby Pauls and Toby Thornton. I almost said Thoby Thornton, which actually plays into the whole lisp that I apparently am talking, that Grouchy Surge pointed out. Thank you for that, Grouchy. Otherwise, this is episode 126 of We the Gamercast. It's now in your ears and your eyeballs. Thank you again for listening. I will be back next week. I hope you're there too. Now it's time for Jason!
Jason! Jason! Jason! Jason! Sean! 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 Sean, where are you? Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Jason! 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 Jason!